If you're actually in the market for a car right now, what steps should you take to try and find a bargain?
I think what people are kind of overlooking right now are certified pre-owned cars. And I think hands down in the market right now, that's the best overall deal because you can see some pretty significant savings compared to their new counterparts. But if somebody's looking for a brand new car, the real magic is going to be by shopping dealership websites that sell that brand. So one guy who's much more aggressive on a particular car can save you some money compared to a competitor down the street that's not. So make sure that you shop local dealerships' websites and not just the car maker's brand. And that's where you're going to really find probably the biggest savings.
I've always thought that if I went at the end of the month, I was more likely to get a deal, that they maybe want to make sure they were hitting their numbers. Am I right to think that? Wrong to think that?
No. Actually, you're right to think that. The only tricky part is, what if you go to a dealership that hit their numbers 2 days before the end of the month, right? So you always got to gauge that, right? There's always that. But I am here to dispel the myth. It is true. It is true. The end of the month is a fantastic time to buy a car. You can get an aggressive salesperson. You can find a dealership that really needs to hit their goal, either monthly or quarterly. So yes, there is truth to that.
Are most of them on calendar quarterly years, or is it a fiscal quarterly year?
If you can time it and you can say, hey, I can go at the end of March, I can go at the end of September, I can go at the end of December, those are also really good times. But here's the thing, the difference between an excellent, day of the year and your average day of the year, it may not be dramatic. Maybe you save yourself a couple $100. The important thing is that you get the right car at the right time. But if you do have a choice to buy a car on the 20th or the 30th, I'm saying buy it on the 30th.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Matt, what about leases? Are they a good deal, or do you get ripped off because you're putting yourself into one of those financing situations?
Well, I'll tell you what, a million years ago, leases weren't necessarily a good deal. And, I hate to say this, on a personal note, a million years ago, I had a lease and I was like, I better not tell my mom that I'm leasing this car and not buying it. And I was an adult, and I'm working in the car dealership. They had bad reputations, but they're not bad anymore. Leases are great opportunities for a lot of people to get into safe, reliable transportation in a way that's affordable. And when you think about just your average American, that's really what it's coming down to is, I want a car to get the kids to and from school and to and from work. And maybe I don't really necessarily want to buy a used car because I don't want to deal with the things that come along with a used car. A lease can be a really good option. But if you're looking for ownership, leasing probably isn't the best way to do it. You will get yourself onto a cycle of leasing a car for 3 years and then leasing another car for 3 years, and you may not ever get to enjoy, paying off a car and going payment free. But if you're just looking for something, to carry the family around and you don't want to pay a whole lot per month, and that's how a lot of people look at leases, they're actually a pretty good option.
A lot of people hate the whole process of buying a car because they hate the negotiation, that you're going to wind up going through at a dealership. Do you have tips on what to do with the negotiation in terms of doing it before you walk through the door, have a plan in mind? How does it work?
So dealerships understand that there's a group of people who want to do that type of negotiation online. So you can start that with your salesperson or the sales manager and hammer out all the prices and make sure there's no ambiguity, and then go into the dealership with everything already laid out so that you can just, pay for it and drive off with the car. It doesn't have to be this long, traumatic, beat-up cycle that we thought of 10, 15 years ago. A lot of people can just do this online and save all the hassle.
What about a tool that your website talks about? It's a suggested price tool. What is that number? Where does it come from? And how should I use it?
Think of the average shopper, and they're like, okay, I know I want car A, but they may not necessarily know what they should pay for it. So the Edmunds suggested price tool is actually an aggregate of millions of transactions, but it's actually localized to the area that you live in. So if you're looking for a Honda Accord and you live in Los Angeles, for example, Edmunds is actually going to aggregate all the Honda Accord deals in your area and say, this is the average. So this is the suggested price. You don't really want to pay above average, and sometimes you can get below that.